In the heavens above, the gods did quarrel for a golden apple that could make one royal.
To the fairest it said, and three goddesses claimed, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite, all named. They asked Paris, the prince of Troy, to choose the fairest to bring them joy. Aphrodite promised him the love of the queen, Helen of Sparta, with beauty so serene. Paris took Helen, and to Troy they fled, leaving behind Menelaus, her husband in dread. Menelaus, enraged, called upon the Greek might to bring Helen back and to make things right. 1,000 ships sailed across the sea. For Helen's return they would fight to be free. The Trojan War had begun. Blood would spill for the love of a woman they'd kill. The Achilles, the mightiest, with armor so bright, a warrior unmatched, with a heart full of fight. Hector of Troy, a noble man, fighting for his people, he led the stand. The Greeks and Trojans clashed on the shore. With swords and shields they fought the war. Heroes like Odysseus and Ajax took the lead, while gods watched from the sky, feeding their greed. Zeus, the king of the gods, looked down from above. He watched as the mortals fought, pushed by love. Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite took sides, while Apollo and Artemis watched with pride. Ares, the god of war, fueled the flames, and the war raged on with no one to blame. But Achilles, angry, refused to fight, because Agamemnon, the leader, wronged him that night. Hector, the Trojan prince, so noble and true, fought valiantly, but fate was cruel. Achilles returned filled with rage, and in a fierce battle Hector was caged. With one swift blow Achilles took his life, a prince fallen in the war's deadly strife. His body was dragged around the walls of Troy, to honor Achilles, to show no joy. The war stretched on for years and years. Troy stood strong despite the fears. The Greeks grew tired with no end in sight, but Odysseus, the clever one, had a plan so bright. They built a horse, hollow and grand, and left it outside the city stand. The Trojans, believing in a gift, brought it inside. Spirits would lift. At night the Greeks climbed down to fight, and Troy was lost without a fight. The fall of Troy, the Greeks broke in with swords held high, and the city of Troy began to die. The gods had abandoned, their help was too late. The city was was burning, sealed by fate. The walls that stood for so many years now crumbled in the face of fears. The women and children taken as slaves, Troy's grand empire became their grave. Helen, the beauty who caused it all, was left behind as the city did fall. Menelaus, her husband, had his wife back, but the war's long toll was nothing but lack. Achilles was dead, his glory was gone. Hector too lay silent at dawn. The gods looked down, no one could say if the price of war had been worth the pain. With swords held high, and the city of Troy began to die, The gods had abandoned, their help was too late. The city was burning, sealed by fate. The walls that stood for so many years now crumbled in the face of fears. The women and children taken as slaves, Troy's grand empire became their grave. Helen, the beauty who caused it all, was left behind as the city did fall. Menelaus, her husband, had his wife back, but the war's long toll was nothing but lack. Achilles was dead, his glory was gone. Hector too lay silent at dawn. The gods looked down, no one could say if the price of war had been worth the pain. Now the tale of Troy lives on in song, of love, of loss, and the gods so strong. The Trojan War, a myth so grand, a story of heroes who made their stand. But remember the cost, the lives they gave, the price of honor, the price of the brave. And so we learn through this ancient tale that war leaves nothing but a broken trail.